Welcome to the final draw of the 2023 Senior National Curling Championships here at the Granite Curling Club of Seattle. Once again, this is Luke Violette and Evan McCauley.
Hello, everyone.
This draw, we've got our final games, men's and women's final. Men's final sheet 3, women's final sheet 4, and then we also have bronze medal games on 2 and 4.
2 and 5.
Oh, yeah. We do have that.
It'd be tough to have two games going on sheet 4 at once.
Hey, sheet 4 it's an important sheet. You gotta, it just is. So, Evan, want to outline our matchups here?
Yeah, I'm really excited about a lot of these, honestly. So on sheet 3, we've got Farbelow, Team Farbelow versus Team Larway, and this is the men's final. And this one I'm really looking forward to. So Farbelow has shown a lot of really impressive comebacks throughout the week, and another really impressive comeback in the semifinals against Pustovar. I am, really excited to see if they're going to, how they're going to fight through this one, because they're a really scrappy team. Larway here as well. They are the sort of hometown Seattle team playing locally here. And they have shown a really sort of controlled game, undefeated so far throughout the tournament. And all of their games that I have seen have been, either they've been well ahead, or there have been a lot of close ones that they've sort of fought through and sort of scrapped through. So I'm expecting this one to be, a real slugfest back and forth. I think it's going to be a really tight game, and I'm excited to see where it goes either way.
13.
And then on sheet 4 is the women's final. We have Team Smith versus Team Lawless. And so both of them have kind of come different routes here that I think are kind of interesting. Lawless had a really dominant group stage, the round robin. They were the only women's team to go through undefeated. And Smith is the defending champions, and they came through the semifinal with the only sort of dominant game of the semifinals. All the other ones were sort of neck and neck, close, real tight going into the last one. 1 point differences. But they went in with a 3-point lead going into the last end. The sort of only dominant performance there in the semifinals. So two sort of titans of women's senior curling going into this last one, at least on the week. And I'm really excited to see how they shake out.
Love it. The titans of women's senior curling is an accurate description. Both teams have had really strong weeks here so far, and expect the final to be nothing short of that.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I wouldn't be counting out any of these 3-4 matchups as well, because these were all great teams that most of them had, really, really tight semifinals that they barely just got edged out in. So, these 3-4 matches are going to be games where the caliber should be, close to the finals as well. So keep your eye on them, even though we will be trying to focus mostly commentating on the two final matches in the center sheets.
Same way.
Yeah, so we've got the men's final, Larway versus Farbelow, now in a situation where they're trading hits.
I'm not too surprised about that. We saw Farbelow versus Pustovar in the semis open up with trading hits as well. Seems a pretty traditional sort of men's way to open up a curling game. A little bit more conservative, lots of hits early on.
Yeah, all it takes is one miss the wrong way, and that could change a little bit. But once we kind of get in the seconds rocks here and the delayed corners off the table is an option, yeah, we're probably ready to stay the course of trading hits.
Yeah.
Of course, the women's final has a couple rocks in play.
A little bit more action over there, yeah. A little bit more potential for aggression. So we'll see if they're able to turn those slightly off center guards into anything aggressive. They're sweeping pretty hard here. This red rock here for Smith looks like it's coming up light and coming into these guards.
I think it's important to note that Bill Stapera has already taken off his jacket. This is the earliest of the week so far.
8-9, but tight. Just tight it.
We'll have to stay tuned on Bill's jacket. Team Farbelow did win the hammer before the game in the last shot draws. even though Team Larway came in. Well, wait, we're both teams undefeated. I'm checking myself here now.
They might both have been, yeah.
There's an easy way to figure this out. Yeah, both teams are undefeated. Regardless, even if one was and the other wasn't, because they weren't in the same pool, it's not apples to apples.
Exactly.
And they would have had draw shot challenge for the game either way.
Yeah.
Did not see Farbelow's draws, but I saw Joel Larway. Joel had the out turn. His came up short, top 8, and I think their first one was in the full 4. So I think Farbelow's draw shot at the very least was averaging full 4. And a roll out here, so we're going to have a completely empty house. Farbelow choosing to draw to the wing instead of to the middle. They have the last rock and don't want to risk throwing a center guard.
And I mean, I know that it really doesn't matter as much in terms of the score or anything, but I always love when I'm playing in a match and my opponent, we've sort of got an open house and they hit and roll out and we get to draw instead. I feel like it gives the team a great chance to sort of get their weight, their feel under them a little bit. And so, even though both teams get 15 minutes of practice before the games start, it's really nice. The ice is going to change over the course of the first end and everything. So to sort of just have the more recent draws, that always is sort of a confidence builder for me when you get to throw those for free without any pressure.
Yeah, if your opponent rolls out and you get one of those free shots, your reward is the ability to develop that touch. You can see Bill here, he came a little bit heavy on it. If that had been a draw to the middle later in the game, you'd be pretty frustrated, but here it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Touching the rings, made shot.
Yep. All that means for him is 4 feet less on the next one.
Of course, Darren Leto, second for Team Larway, didn't get the opportunity to throw that rock. So when they're playing draws in the second end, Bill's going to come in with one under his belt, and Darren without. This, of course, is more impactful early in the week. These teams have been playing on this ice all week now. Common to see it change a little bit for the finals, but usually in that situation, the final might be the only game being played. You might have fans on the ice. Here, it's the same number of games for the most parts, and there's no fans on the ice, so conditions-wise, there's no real reason it should be any different than the last couple draws.
Curl if you can. 15-1. Go.
Over on sheet 4, pretty nice freeze bump from Team Lawless.
Yeah, that's an excellent shot there.
Nice weight.
Red was starting to pile up a few in there, so it feels really good to get something that's, even though I don't believe it's out, it might be out counting the one on the side. It's pretty close there, but definitely not shot rock, but still controlling that area, and I think that's really important.
If I'm counting rocks correctly, I think Team Lawless has the last rock in the first end. And this is Ann Swisshelm's second stone, third's last without hammer.
2 up.
I seem to like where this one's going. It's maybe carrying a bit deep.
Yeah, just trying to throw a guard
No, they
up.
like it.
They're lying 2 right now. That was a really nice tap from Lawless, but all it earned them was an angle for the next shot.
Exactly. It was just more of a positional thing, and that nice guard up there means that looks like it's going to have to be a run back here for Lawless.
Straight.
It's a pretty tough shot to be throwing in the first end where you don't know exactly how it's going to be reacting to higher weight shots.
Yeah, a little wide, so has dropped the weight.
They're on the inside.
That's the way I roll.
They want to definitely be hitting this on the high side, and this is looking like it's coming a bit closer to nose. And that's definitely an improved position there.
Yes, it is. second shot, and the shot red stone is back button and somewhat accessible with that same run.
Yeah, and I like where they left the shooter there a lot. It controls that access to the forefoot, gives them another run back potential, especially when they just saw a run back come down that exact track. So, if you ask them to make that run back again afterwards, they've got pretty good odds.
And then here we'll switch back, so you can see Farbelow roll to the wing.
2 up.
We're going to see Joel Larway throw his last without hammer, and then Farbelow's going to have a blank out attempt as long as Joel can stick around.
Two up. Be sure of it.
Not the most exciting shot, so we're going to go back over to sheet 4.
It runs straight here? Yeah, I think so too.
Team Smith, are they trying to come around here, or are they just going to guard it up?
I think both of them are viable options. I think the guard is definitely the wider margin of error shot, but I think, you could potentially come around and put one in there that sort of takes away the run back and threatens maybe another point or something like that. So we'll see how confident she's feeling in her draw weight, sort of based on this call, right?
I'll throw a little more weight, not a lot. I was here last time. Throw it there.
Joel did make a hit and roll to center, and now the broom is down, and Farbelow sliding down to deliver his blank out.
Is there a finals patch?
We'll switch back over there once Team Smith's rocks come to rest.
And this is just going to be a nice guard here.
That's the one. Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, I like it.
All right, here's Mike Farbelow, last rock on the first end. His objective is to remove the yellow stone while his red shooter also rolls out of play. This is to retain the last rock advantage into the second end. Rich Ruinen, medium hard sweep, and they get it, no problem. Well-controlled rock.
It would be rather up at that first mark than anything. Tight is great. Tight is great.
Yep, that guard was made well by Team Smith. So here's the draw to the button for Team Lawless.
They've got to overbury this quite a bit, actually. Definitely not an easy draw here for, I believe this is last rock, no? Or do we have one more?
I'm not sure. I think there's one more, actually. Yeah. I think this is not last rock.
Yeah, he really wanted to roll out.
Yeah, I'm counting 6 up there, so I believe this is
Yeah.
Trace's first. So if this is deep, which sweepers are right off, that's a good chance it will be. Yeah, I think Team Smith's just going to have a free opportunity to draw one onto the screw in a spot where I don't see a way to remove it.
No, I mean this.
Line's good.
Yeah, we talked about it. We think Lawless has got the hammer here, so
Line's
this could be a steal of 2 if this shot is made extremely well.
I mean, if it's made perfectly, I think a guaranteed steal of 1 and maybe a 90% steal of 2.
Right. I mean, you're looking at what, the double run back in the center.
Yep.
It's, double run back, double first end is not really what you want to be seeing when you're trying to sort of build your confidence up.
So from hearing the crowd murmurs correctly, I think we have a Sheila Mariano, hometown team playing in the bronze game, has a hit for 3 with their last in the first end over on sheet 2.
Okay, don't touch this one, I guess.
We're seeing that there.
You're gonna bump it off the line.
Just coming into this yellow. It's hard to tell from the camera if they need to double this or if they can just hit this on the nose and get their dues. Looks like they should just be able to nose it. But you can never trust the cameras exactly. The players have a much better view of it.
Top 4.
Team Smith might have just called the guard. I don't think so. I think they did want to get to that top can spot. But it does make any draw for Team Lawless more difficult. They have to come wider now.
Room. Line's good. Curl if anything. Wait if you can. Wait if you can.
Oh,
Got to curl them
John
out.
Rasmussen
15-6.
for
Curl,
Team
curl,
Larway.
curl. Can't hurt it. Curl.
leads second
Curl.
rock.
They're trying to
Yep,
finish
cross
this one
center,
around.
Cross center. Nice weight, John.
Just a little late on the sweep.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
just wasn't quite leaning hard enough on that one.
Get another
Yep.
shot at it.
they could have carried that a good couple extra
Not
feet
curling
too.
as
So
much.
We could hear Joel telling Doogie that he doesn't think it's curling as much. It's like we mentioned, the conditions, there's not really a whole lot of reason that there would be different, but normally it's common to have a straighter game in the final.
Okay.
Hack. Just hack.
Good throw.
and on sheet 4, this is Lawless's last. Looks like they're trying sort of a desperation draw in, see if they can really finish this one around. But they've got to overbury it a couple of rocks.
The good news for Team Lawless is there's no way to give up two with this shot.
Yep. And it looks like they're going into it's light and going into the guards, so they're just gonna give up the one in the first and move on to the next end.
All you got. Attaboy, great weight.
There's Darren Leto. Board weight dig. Good shot. We're going to see Pustovar and Team Farbelow try the same shot, but roll underneath the guard. Could also be going to the wing here.
Yeah, it looks like they called right away that this looks a little hot. They were looking for hack weight,
You're fine. That's good.
Don't want to get caught in the middle, ideally.
and it looks like they're gonna get a little roll out to the side.
Yeah, and you can roll too much farther, so that's a good shot.
Yep.
Just two.
Yeah, you can see Joel looking at that one. If they nose it, Team Larway, it's probably not in the rings.
Yep.
And it would be pretty much a corner guard at that point. So really important to
Nose is
roll
okay.
in.
Whoa. Clean. Hurry. Whoa. Stay close. Curl. Curl. That's fine. Attaboy.
All
Rolls
right.
just enough to touch some paint.
11-2.
There comes a time in every conservative hit
Great call.
end where the rock runs up to the top of the house, and teams have to decide how they want to play it. You can get this back in with a pretty steep roll here, but if you nose it and come up short, and neither team has been hitting these super accurately in making these rolls, so a nose here allows Team Larway a chance to just draw around. And they're going to get that. They're going to get a chance to sort of put a really good one in the top 4 foot behind their guard.
Big difference, I think, between rolling out
Give
and
you a little
nosing,
less.
though. If they nose it, yes, Larway still has that same come around, but there's a run back opportunity for Rich Ronan that he'll have. I mean, they could save it for Mike's shot too, but it's even though it's a center guard with the hammer, it's a rock that can be used to make a soft weight run back, stick it,
Yeah.
and kind of switch the momentum of the end around later. Rolling out, that
Line's
won't be a
good.
tool at all. This can
Little
just be
tight.
buried around the middle one.
Little tight. Curl. Curl.
Rasmussen and Leto back and forth on the sweep.
Curl. Curl.
They're really trying to finish this
16.
one up.
Curl. 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 Curl.
Darren's really got to go
All the
on
way,
it.
All the way. Every inch. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's right there.
Yeah, having a tough time finding the 4 foot.
Yeah.
That rock's probably not going to score, but it can certainly force.
Yep.
We're going to see a run back
I didn't.
coming here for Rich.
It never happened. Let it go.
Yeah, I don't mind that because this rock in the top 8 is not that threatening. But if you were to sort of just pick it out and maybe roll away, you're giving Larway a chance to make the shot better. So if you just get rid of the guard, that's the really threatening rock in the end.
It's close.
Oh,
Just misses high.
Scoots
Right here.
by.
Threw it hard enough though. Shooter rolls all the way out anyways. So you know, if it's a longer run back, it's more straight back. Sometimes you get punished extra for those shots that you barely miss. This is not one of those times.
Line's good. Line's good. Got to curl. 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 Got to touch center. Got to touch center. Yep, all the way. Got to touch
Team
center.
Larway has been sweeping all of these rocks to curl.
I was just thinking about that. I mean, this is three draws now where they have had to try to get it to finish, and they've not quite gotten it there all the way with the curl. So maybe the ice has changed a little bit from what they had been expecting from the previous draws. And here comes the run back. Oh, just misses it again.
You like this now?
No, you throw it really nice.
He's going to come around. Yeah. So let's come around this way. Huh?
Okay. Hard to believe you need less
I
ice
agree.
than that,
So I'm
but
getting
you
here to get to there.
You can see Larway, they're talking about adjusting the ice a little bit.
Normal speed.
I think they're talking about, and I think they did decide to draw into the rings here.
Yep, that's what it looks like. They're going for that top four.
In Vancouver, and we hit so many picks.
Yep.
I don't mind this call, but I do think that it's not quite curling as much as it has been on previous draws, and it's going to be harder to get around that one in the top 8, top 12. Maybe in the semifinals it would have been easier to get that with how swingy it was.
The good news is now that they're coming in, half buried is more than enough. They could also be behind the tee line. They just don't want to be back buttoned. Like if they're at least full back four or deeper, Farbelow can come around, but you can always freeze back and most likely force them.
Stay close. Whoa, 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 whoa. Stay close. Stay close. Little bit, some distance.
And that's a great draw.
Make sure we stick.
This is a sort of mistake that I have made many times against Larway, which is letting him throw draws whenever he wants to. He has impeccable draw weight and has a knack for sort of getting rocks around things that you normally think that you might not be able to get around.
Kind of that same way I just threw it down.
They're a team that scores a lot of skips deuces.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I told them.
One of them was the first end of the game that we scrimmaged against them, like 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, we helped them practice for this event. Luke and I did, along with our two other teammates, Nick and Chris.
Noteworthy that Nick and Chris have not been here all week. I don't know what's up with that.
Somehow I got roped into commentating while they got off free.
Tough deal.
And somebody had to back you up, Luke.
Hey, great shot from Farbs. Gets the double, no problem.
Excellently done.
Who's throwing the doubles?
Rich has a reputation or a nickname of being Dr. Double.
Thank you. Good call.
Looks like that's Farbs is taking that title from him so far today.
Hit and roll the John
Absolutely.
Thank you.
side. Nose doesn't do us that much good here. Just two, daring you through.
Come with Dr. Double.
Through this.
And you can hear him talking about it right now.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yes, missed it. Second one looked like you were sliding narrow and kind of put it back up.
Hurry! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Call, 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 call! Huh?
Anywhere from here to on out.
Yep. So Team Larway there really wanted to try to roll that in a little bit deeper, I think, so because now for Farbelow, even the nose here should get them that blank. Obviously, they're going to try and roll out, but
Updating sheet 4. Here's Ann Swisshelm of Team Smith. I think they're just trying to throw a center guard here, but this one's a little hot. I think they're just going to hope that this one stays around in the back.
And that one scooted all the way through the house there.
Nose it.
There's Farbelow's blank out coming. They want to make sure that they nose it and don't roll a little. The only thing they can't do is roll a little.
And they rolled enough to get out of the way there.
They're kind of back and forth on it. Yeah, it's you can
Short.
you
Like
can
here
nose
is
it.
perfect.
You can peel it out like normal. But if you roll a little, there's a couple of spots where you end up rolling onto the ring.
Yeah, there you
Yep.
go. All right.
One of those
short.
places where a tweener can really hurt you.
Okay.
Let's get something going. We'll steal one.
should
of
go.
these guys.
And yeah, now our women's final is trading hits here. It's now just this is Skip's first for Margie Smith. He'll bring 5 back
Slide
into
out
play.
together,
Take a
straight on
look
that
at
one.
some
You
of
can
our
see that?
bronze
You look a
medal
little
games.
wobbly on that one.
Over on
Settle
sheet
down,
5,
settle down.
Pustovar is up
Back
3-0 on LeClair. He scored 3 in the
Just a series
first.
of adjustments. That's all a delivery is.
Yeah, Pustovar was extremely close to getting into these into the final game as well. They played an extremely good game against Farbelow, who made a pretty heroic comeback. Pustovar being sort of in the lead for a majority of it, but Farbelow coming through in the clutch.
Straight if you can.
Not surprised they're coming out hot into this.
Straight. Straight. Oh, you're hogging it? Okay. It's all right. Better than long.
You like it up there? Here.
Yeah, over on sheet 2, Sheila Mariano was trying a perfect freeze on that rock back tee line and just slid deep. Ended up barely curling by the guard, so a little tight on line and just had a little too much weight, didn't graze that back one and enough to stop it. Team Dukes is going to have a chance to sit another one there.
Yeah, he came right down the center line.
Short.
Yeah, so the corner guard back on sheet 3 just ended up over curling a little bit. I think Tim just came out a little on the tight side and it caught a different path and really took to the curl.
Yeah.
It looks in to me. Off. 15-9. Whoa. You sure about this? Okay.
And we see your comments about showing the full view. Kind of getting a lot of feedback either way. The full view you don't quite get the detail to do with the sheet view, so we're going to do the best that we can show as many views as possible, and we're going to make sure that you don't miss anything substantial going on in these final games.
Good line here.
That was that hit and roll from Team Smith barely sticks around, and that's a sneaky spot.
Absolutely, that puts the pressure on. It looks like, is Lawless just gonna draw in with their last rock here?
That appears to be the call.
Say take the one instead of trying to chase out in the wings where they don't exactly know what it's gonna do out there.
He came down center a little bit.
There it is. We'll take a closer look at this final shot.
Wait only. Wait only. Stay close. Straight.
You know, I don't mind this call too much. I know it's a non-traditional call, but you know,
Go.
it
Get
certainly
around
would
it.
feel a
Go
lot
around it,
better
go around it.
going into the third end tied rather than having the chance of going in down 2. So I don't mind playing this draw here.
Well, if you're not confident in that wing hit, then I
Exactly.
know I wouldn't be.
Just back circle.
This is also not an Olympic-sized sheet. Most curling clubs don't have Olympic-sized sheets, and the Olympic-sized sheet just has a little more room between the board and the edge of the rings. So in that situation, that shot would be a little more makeable.
Tim! Can't have half.
And
You'll miss it. Yep, that's gone.
Made shot will bring back to
Couldn't throw any
5.
more
Gee, I
basketball
can't
now.
tell what happened, but I think on sheet 2, the Team Dukes had a draw for 2 that looks like it might have slipped deep, but it was really close. Either a score of 2 or 1 over on sheet 2.
And looking back on sheet 3, we're getting a little bit more aggression here now with a couple of
Mine's good.
guards in play, even though that corner guard is
Mine's good.
maybe a little bit too far out to get used. They're
Roll
definitely
then, roll,
fighting
roll,
over
roll,
this
roll.
center territory here in the top 4 foot.
Get
But
close,
this
clean it,
this
clean
one
it.
from Larway
Straight
is
and
looking a
finish it,
little hot and a
straight.
little wide.
Straight, no bounce. Straight, straight, straight.
And just a little tap, but that's going to be good
Yeah.
enough.
That's a good
Probably
shot.
better than-
Rich, you
That's
like
great.
trying to
Not
get
horrible.
this or across the top?
Yeah, it looks like they're Farbelow's looking at how they want to clear out of this end, probably running that center guard back into the stack.
I think if I go higher, he tries to double peel.
That's a great shot. Manages to open up the center and send that yellow off to the wings, even though it's not removed. It's really not much of a threat anymore for Farbelow,
two.
who's maintained hammer through a couple blanks. This is Doug
Whoa,
Kaufman,
clean.
third's first rock,
Clean.
throwing on sheet 3. They're just trying to hit this red and then roll over to the left.
Curl.
Need to curl it a
All
little
you
bit
got,
more.
John. All you got, all you got.
It's a little too much weight.
Yep, just a little hot, and they end up flopping out there. That would have been a really nice spot to make that hit and roll. Sit 3 sort of all across the house. Would have been very difficult for Farbelow to make the blank happen. Would have sort of forced some aggression. Now with 2 in there, a few more hits, a double might present itself.
Ammo. Okay.
And Tim's working this one down the middle of the ice.
Good throw.
Just a nose hit.
Yeah, there's no double at this point, so
Just two.
rolling's not huge. But as these rocks, as more nose hits happen here, the rocks are going to keep working themselves up the sheet, and eventually it'll be more difficult to prevent that double from coming into play.
Over on sheet 4,
Clean.
we've got Team Smith splitting rings here with the
Wow.
hammer in the third end.
Curl.
Yeah,
So
this
we've
looks like
got-
a very powerful position
Straight,
for
straight.
Smith to potentially grab a deuce here.
What's he talking about?
Just a little mix up on the line call there for Team Larway. And it rolls to a spot where maybe
Yeah,
Team
don't
Farbelow
roll
can
that
use that corner guard that overcurled.
Now, we talked about that being hard to bring into play, but, you know, Larway rolling that far really sort of brings that corner guard into play on its own. They may need to play on this shot rock first, but, you know, that presents the opportunity for a corner freeze behind a guard and definitely a possibility for a deuce there.
Notice that Farbelow called this the hit and a slight flop outward. If they flop into the full 12, then Larway comes and noses it. They can't roll back to the middle. Then Team Farbelow on Mike's first will be able to draw under that corner guard and be shot stone. So I think that's why they went with this sequence rather than drawing right now.
Yeah.
And if they don't quite get that roll out, and if Joel rolls to the middle here, then Farbelow will just keep hitting and take their one.
fine. Yep, that's fine. Yep. Yep.
The stone from Team Smith needs to stop.
It's going a little deep, but it's going to
Just in
stay
time.
biting.
Those are steep enough. I think that not only is there technically a double here, but more importantly, there's a hit and roll on top. I think,
Yeah.
a more pivotal shot selection potentially.
They are choosing to play the intern here, which seems a little bit trickier if you're going to go for a double.
A little less room, harder to just miss and maybe hit a little thin and get the double instead of the hit and roll. Oh, this is going to be a
Go
nose
the
hit.
other way. Yep.
Yeah, not quite nose.
Shooter.
Good roll from Joel.
Little soft.
You
Yeah.
could throw this really hard. They come close to making the double, but just kind of roll next to the other yellow.
Yeah.
This is ice for the nose hit, though.
Yep. I think that's a pretty tough shot, but I think that it's really key there for Larway that he managed to get that little roll in because they really want to keep Shot Rock on this right side of the sheet. As soon as Shot Rock is not on the right side of the sheet, Farbelow wants to dive under that corner guard and potentially set up a deuce. But this way, deuce is going to be really hard without a crazy roll.
Back over on sheet 5, LeClair responded with the score of 2 in the second end. They're only trailing 1 now. Pustovar is quite well set up in the middle there. So Fred Maxey, third for Team LeClair, is going to need to make a couple good ones to get him out of trouble once again. And Mike's shot's hanging a little bit. Just over rolls. That would have been gnarly if they managed to be shot on that. So just going to be a draw here for Joel Larway. Anywhere near the tee line means there'll be no double and they'll be safe. They'll get their force.
Yep.
But
and I feel like, if you get the force here after 2 blank ends, you're feeling pretty good about it. It feels like Farbelow sort of invested a lot into trying to get something with this
7 or 8.
hammer, and they're having to give it away anyways.
yeah, the one spot you might not want to go is like top 8. That leaves a fairly natural double. It's still a little risky for Farbelow to try it, but you'd rather not leave it.
Yeah.
Or through the rings, or short of the rings. Those are needs to be at least full 12 foot.
Clean it, clean it.
And on sheet 4, Lawless is really hoping for the double here. They're sweeping hard on the inside, keeping it straight. They're off. And they don't get the double here. No, just right on the nose.
This does prevent Team Smith from rolling to our left.
They can't split the house off of this.
So that means they're almost is a guaranteed double on the next shot again, or at least they had another hit and roll on top for Team Lawless.
Yep.
So they can afford to stay patient for another shot or two here.
Hanging out a little bit. They're going to get it.
Oh.
Question is, how much do they roll?
Yep, and that's
And
just goes to show the
A
importance
little bit too far.
of leaving shooters around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you're not going to be perfect, missing in such a way that you make your opponents have to hit a certain side of the rock rather than just removing it. And every once in a while, you're going to get rare rollouts, and didn't even have to make the double.
Yep. And this was an end that really looked pretty favorable for Smith early on. They had hammer, they had corner guards, they had sort of rocks spread out across, 2 rocks spread out across the house. Looked like a pretty good setup for a double. But Lawless is, through some good execution, has clawed their way back into the end. And now it's looking like most likely a blank if all shots are made.
Force 1. All right, good force.
Now back over on sheet 3. Larway was able to get their force.
Yep.
If they go in, we'll go corner.
Posting to post first point is still a really good result for Team Farbelow. You know, disappointed they didn't score 2. It puts them in, certainly in the driver's seat of this game.
Right. And especially when you look at the fact that the first 2 ends are blanked, it's probably going to be a lower scoring game. So just getting any amount of points is something that you've got to feel good about.
Play his entrance. Okay.
And a good result for Larway, too. They can't do a whole lot better other than maybe steal,
Nope.
but that's a little out of their control. It's just
Right.
kind of, this shows the advantage of starting a game with the hammer. That's why we have a whole really 20, 25-minute process to determine who gets the hammer before the game.
Exactly. Now, Luke, have they done statistics on chances of winning with or without hammer at the beginning?
Yeah, give or take, it's about, it's about 60-65% chance you post the first point, and I think it's similar if you start the game with the hammer.
Okay.
Of course, depends on kind of what level of play you're looking at, men's
Right, I'm
or
assuming
women's.
that's like, tour events is the numbers that you're talking about more likely. And
Yep, whole kind of all men's tour events is kind of and all women's tour events. The numbers aren't very different. We're talking usually single digits a little bit, very slight differences that rarely impact the way that you call shots. If you kind of evaluate maybe the top 10 teams in the world versus like 100 to 200, there you might see closer to 10% differences in some of these scenarios.
sure.
Gotta go.
Team Larway is on this shot right out of the gates. It's pretty light. Trying to get it around this red.
16-5. Whoa. I mean, no. I was just trying to leave it here, huh? That's right.
They're not going to get in the house, and they're going to kind of suck it around that center guard, which isn't exactly what you want to see when you've got hammer there. It's not a very easy raise rock there either.
Good line. Okay, play the guard.
Shifting
Play the
gears
guard,
to
fine.
play the guard here rather than to come around based off of the weight call.
Go, Billy. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good spot to put it. I mean, if you compare that to Larway's guard there, this rock is easily promotable. You can get that into the forefoot.
Yeah.
I gave you a little less room with
So,
that stone, but
actually, I like what Larway is
okay,
tapping
too.
here on sheet 3.
7,
Just to sort of,
7.
promote the yellow, because you can see, maybe about a half of it, maybe a little bit less. And then roll the shooter off to either be a corner guard or at least a cleaner raise rock there. So,
Off.
and a
Off
little
if
wide.
you can. It's got to curl. Curl at the end. Curl at the end.
Looks like they've
15-2.
pivoted to just be drawing around this yellow here.
Curl. 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 Curl.
They're
Curl.
going hard to finish it. They
That's
will
good
bury a
shot,
piece.
Greatest shot from John Rasmussen.
Yeah, it's a good way to pivot to a plan B based on the way the rock was released. And that's a really great rock there, because even if you freeze down on top of this, it leaves the entire right side of the forefoot there available for a last shot draw for Larway to get a deuce.
play the weight. Play the weight. Oh, it's light. It's drifting. Might
Thought
not
it
go
was
long, but not rich.
close or light, and now all of a sudden it's a lot heavier than I thought.
Straight. Straight. There you go.
Really good weight call and adjustment.
Yeah, actually from both teams, making great sort of plan B adjustments on the fly. Unfortunately for Farbelow, that didn't end up stealing the shot rock away. But it does drastically shrink the rings against Larway.
Another example of why communication is so important.
Absolutely.
Curls a little more here.
the earlier and more accurate a sweeper can relay that information, the better the chances are of actually being able to make a tangible adjustment.
Line's good. Wait only. Line's good. Line's good. Straight, 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 straight. 15-2.
Really got to get it by the guard. 15-2. I think the weight's close.
Easy.
Big
Oh,
sweep from
great sweeping.
Rasmussen.
Whoa, never, 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 ever.
Line 2 buried. The crowd loves it.
Of course, hometown team, last Seattle team with a chance at gold medal here, and crowd always happy to see locals do well. Now this looks like a run back here from Farbelow on that tight guard that they put up there. They're going hard on it.
Okay.
All right,
But that's a good shot.
that's a great shot. Yep.
We're still one.
Bill's shaking his head a little bit there. I'm not sure he loved the way it came out of his hand. But can't get too much better result than that. Mentioned it earlier in the week here, but Team Larway won this championship in 2020 right before COVID, and they did not get to represent Team USA at the Worlds. And lost their opportunity, and so now this is their chance to win. Almost is the first time they've been back to the Nationals even, so to them this still feels like they're defending their title, even though Team LeClair won the last championship.
Straight, gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
And earned the right to their first senior world championship.
No roll, no roll.
Ooh, and a little rub off that guard there.
It cuts there. It cuts there.
It's-
Gotta get out to the berm.
It's not terrible. It takes away the run that Farbelow had on that tight guard.
It's close. It's close. You're saying get out there. Way more than the other side.
It's a tough decision here how Farbelow wants to play this. There's a couple of routes that you could take at it. You saw him tap the hit and roll in on the yellow. He's also considering sort of just blocking off this left-hand side, getting something in there, maybe setting up a future angle on that yellow here. I think it's also important to remember that Farbelow here, without hammer, would be very happy with the force. So they need to be thinking about how is Larway going to get a second rock in there and trying to remove that option.
So I'll turn him up so we can hear Rich here.
Rich seems to like the tight guard there, top 12. Farbelow seems to like the hit and roll more, though. And that's what they'll be playing. What do you like here personally, Luke?
Got nothing against this little hit and roll. Of course, the stone you're hitting isn't a stone that's likely to be scored. But
There is a tap potential on it, right into the forefoot.
Exactly. So it's
But-
kind of and in off. Are you probably not really?
Yeah, I don't think the in-off is quite there. I'm not sure that I love the hit, because if you make this hit and then roll in, I feel like it opens up a draw path to draw side full forefoot that Larway doesn't normally have. I actually
Back
like
line.
nosing it a little bit
Get to
better,
nose.
honestly,
Yeah.
than flopping in.
Yeah, you don't want to flop to the wrong spot and leave a double, because even if you lose your own yellow, it still works out pretty good.
The only other shot is this.
Yeah. Yeah, Larway just searching for a way to get a second rock into that
Yep.
forefoot there.
Back line.
No, just got out a little bit.
Straight. Line's good. Whoa. Line's good. Line's good. Straight, 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 straight.
Just
And a little
tickles the
rub
guard.
off.
It's a double rub off, and now I'm wondering how good of a hit and roll can be made by Team Farbelow.
The other question is, did that rub promote Farbelow to be shot rock in the top 12 there? They're taking a look at it, so it's definitely close.
Rich is throwing. I thought he had one more.
Almost thrown out of order there. Farbelow thought it might be his shot, but Rich has another one.
And I like this guard here.
When you get down, I'm like,
Seven. Try to roll the shooter.
I really like this from Larway. What they're playing here is this tap on this yellow here and then move the shooter off. I think they may, he called 7, so he just called T-line weight there. Maybe a little bit more weight that they need, but he's trying to promote the yellow, guarantee that they're shot rock, and then leave the shooter in a spot where he could hit and roll in on his on one of his shots to get a second one in there. They're going hard to get around the guard.
Lots of straight.
Straight. Hurry! Hurry!
And Dan and John get it by. Just
Oh,
by.
they get it by. That's a great tap.
No.
I think I throw an easy one in there.
That was close.
But I do wonder what opportunities that might have opened up for Farbelow. Everything on the right side is pretty closed off. There's a slash
now.
double, but that's probably going to stick in the back there.
Hey.
Honestly, just nosing or just getting slightly inside of nose on this yellow on the left here feels like a pretty good shot from Farbelow. That may be what they're looking at.
He could easily jam this, hang and drip.
I think they're maybe actually playing a little bit less weight. Hack weight, and we've been seeing everything on this left side of the sheet hang pretty straight on people. Here they're hard on the
That's really
outside, trying to get it to curl.
Don't want to ever leave Larway a chance for more than 2.
It honestly ended up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, it kind of restricts any opportunity for Joel and crew to come in on that outturn side.
Now, do you think there's a possibility here, though, Luke, of an outturn double coming cross-facing that red there, hitting it kind of thin? It looks like it might run into that yellow that they've got on the other side, though. I don't know they can remove it. Now, remember, this is Larway's. They're looking at it. This is Larway's first, so he could set something up still on this one to try to get the deuce on his second. But right now, I really like Farbelow's position quite a bit.
Yeah, but if you put it here, then he's got this.
That's what I'm saying. Hit and roll.
Oh, you're saying that.
Yeah, you gotta push that one at least back in here. Because even if you do something like this, that's what you it up. So you gotta push it at least back in here. I do think that's the shot though, because they got a kind of an easy free slash right now. They may guard it anyway though, actually. I think you gotta make a play on that.
There's no way to get a guard through there, huh?
Maybe.
Get a draw through there?
Maybe it's just
They're talking about drawing around, I think, on this outturn side through the
No.
through the 2 reds, the one in the top 8 and the one in the top 4. That'd be a tough shot,
This is
especially
okay.
with how straight everything's been tracking on this
Unless he
outturn
plays
side.
that, then.
right.
But he's got to be careful too.
He does. You like rolling in or nosing there, Darren?
I don't know if we can make that. Yeah, I think this.
Looks like they're tapping the hit. It looks like. I honestly don't mind just playing a little bit of a tap and maybe a tap and a roll in. Because if you leave that red around, it could be a hit and roll in rock that could get you into the forfeit. Really, it's all for Larway. It's all about finding a way to get a second rock into this forfeit here.
Hey, give me a touch more, Doogie. 2 down. Got to roll the inside. Yep. Get ready to hold it. We're not taking much ice here. Stay close. Hurry! 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 Hurry!
It really turned on.
Hurry!
Oh, just a little tight.
I get his guard and give him one.
Not sure that it necessarily hurt them too much.
No, I mean, it actually might have opened up some shots. It's hard to say.
They got the double.
12.
They got the double. I could guard it.
I'm thinking it's mostly just lost opportunity cost.
Exactly.
Let's see what Farbelow thinks they can generate.
What's that get me? I'm not going to be shot rock. No, I will never be shot rock.
I see a shot.
Well, take a look at that. That's close. He can't give us one. He can't hit it too thin.
We're going to go to the view just showing our finals here.
Okay, then I like the guard. I like the guard.
I think that was a nice Brooklyn side blank out
Guarding this, yeah.
from Team Lawless. Here we got to get the job done. They're going to carry the hammer into the 5th end, down 2 with.
Ricochets,
Guard that
touches
double,
that yellow,
yeah.
rolls in for 2. I do. No, it'll roll right onto the button. Play like one weight.
I don't think you need to jump this. Is that too much, bro? Touch less, Billy.
Yeah, I think if they put this guard up pretty perfectly, I don't see a whole lot here for Larway. There's a potential promotion of the yellow on the right side, maybe. If you played something kind of down weight that could
So it's
tap into the forefoot, maybe. You could roll off your own.
it's definitely on the crazy side, but I'm wondering if you can
I've always
hit
been on the crazy side, Luke.
that outside red with, let's call it control weight, have it spin down off the yellow
hit it
and
pretty
nudge
thin, too, okay?
the yellow
I
top
actually
T
see
line.
what you're talking about there.
Sorry, I don't have the telestrator. I can't draw a
That'd
bunch
be
of
nice,
lines.
yeah. But that the yellow red that are welded on the right side there.
Yeah, right on the
If you
nose.
sort of hit
I
it
think
on
you
the
wanna use this
outside,
yellow one, too.
the red could go straight
I think
into
you-
the
I think
yellow
you
and
wanna
just
hit it right
just
here.
nudge it in to be out counting the red for second shot.
And probably,
They're kind of
they're
looking at
line
it, yeah. I mean,
nose.
I don't
you know what I mean? Yeah, and if, it,
think they've got anything
if
else.
it's hack, we got to
going on.
slow it down. Okay?
I don't think they're playing enough
It
weight.
curls here.
Well, how much weight do you think they need to throw this? I think they may be looking just for nose, Luke, rather
Yeah.
than coming off of the yellow.
I think you're right. I think they are going for just
Hack,
nose.
hack
and
weight
then-
with nose. I don't mind. I think it's makeable this way.
Hack line, hack weight.
Hack line's the
if
way
it's
you
back
used to
line,
use
let's-
back
let's
in
hit
the
it on
day.
nose. If it's
Except
hack,
it's
which I'm trying to
phonetically
throw, we're gonna
terrible.
use some of these
It
Yeah.
sounds
yellow.
like both. So
Yep.
space
So I'm going to try getting
is
you
the
back
more
line
common
back.
one these days.
Okay?
Yeah.
I don't think that they can hurt themselves, like as in like doubling out their own. So I just think they might have a little bit more margin with, say, board.
Yeah, but I think Larway feels very comfortable with these
Straight,
sort of touchy down weights.
Oh,
Straight.
John Rasmussen, hard on the straight.
Straight.
Then they switch sweepers halfway. Darren
Where's the
Little.
weight? Where's the weight?
They are trying to get on the
Oh,
high
last
side, it
minute
looks
curl.
like.
As long as they have enough weight, it should be okay.
Come on, come on. Maybe.
Yeah,
No?
I just think they had more margin the more they threw.
I agree. I think that if you're playing for the high side rub off, I think you need something definitely more than hack. Somewhere between bumper. Probably bumper is good enough, but maybe bumper and control.
Really exciting shot, though. Either way.
Absolutely.
And that gets us to the fourth end break. We've still got last rock coming down here from Sheila Mariano. Looks like a draw for 1 or 2. As long as it stops in time. Well, that one's her last rock is shot, but I'm worried it might have bumped her other one too far back.
Lori Markham there tapping the 2 reds. She thinks it's a deuce. And it looks like they've agreed on it, maybe.
All right, and that gets us into our fourth end break on all sheets. That's going to be a tie game on sheet 2, the women's bronze game at 3. Yep, Larway and Farbelow tied. Farbelow takes the hammer into the 5th. Over on 4, Team Lawless down to width in the 5th. And on 5, not sure what happened in the 4th end, but Pustovar has significant control of that game. I think Evan and I are going to take a few-minute break. We'll keep the stream running, and then we'll be back in about 5 minutes. back for some fifth end action of our final draw, 2023 Senior National Curling Championships. Once again, this is Luke Violette and Evan McCauley.
Yeah, I'm just so excited to see how these shake out. We are 4, maybe 5 if there's extra ends away from getting 2 new senior gold medalists, U.S. champions here.
Not necessarily new champions.
That's true.
Crowned
That's true. 2 new in the sense of new for 2023, I guess. But yeah, two of these teams have won before, as we mentioned. Larway, back before COVID, and Smith is the current defending champion.
Now, of course, looking at Team Farbelow, Rich Ruonen, of course, has recently played in some men's world championships, as well as Bill Stapera back in 2012. And then even you look at Larway, even though they had to go to their worlds, Joel's a 1992 men's worlds bronze medalist. Like Doogie went to worlds maybe 1999, 98, one of those.
How old were you at that point, Luke?
I was born in 99.
So you remember it well, I'm sure.
Yeah, and then, of course, Darren in 2013 with Brady Clark.
Mm.
And then Coach Ken Trask, can't forget about Kenny, also a 2015 world champ in seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. So taking a look over at sheet 4, Lawless, Team Lawless is throwing here. They're really trying to generate some sort of offense to get that deuce back. They blanked in 4. They'd love to capitalize here in 5. Sweeping this one hard. And they end up picking their own in the back out. This may be another blank, and they'll maybe have to look to score in 6, depending on how well Team Smith throws here.
There's a come-around attempt for Tim Solon that does tick the guard.
That yellow may not have been on the center line because I believe that would have to be replaced if it was. Larway's moving up. Oh, yep, they're replacing it.
Yeah.
Center line violation.
Not sure if Joel just forgot and had to be reminded. Maybe if I turn the mics back on, we'd have an idea. Sorry about that.
Tap it. Hit. Straight freeze.
Oh, on sheet 4, a really good hit and roll for Team Lawless. That rock is way out in the wings, and it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's also got a little bit of backing right behind it. So definitely a possibility that this one jams, and the sort of deuce may come back alive if this shot is not made very well for Team Smith.
So a little on the tight side.
Just touch it.
Good thought to point that out. Rolls in, sticks around. Good shot.
Yep. Now, here's something to note. We were tricked a couple of times in the semis, I think, with this. But the camera does sometimes make it look like biters are not in due to sort of the fisheye nature of the lens. So that yellow on sheet 4 that looks like it's out in the wings may be biting a little bit. It's hard to tell, and you'll have to watch the players more than sort of take a look at the camera's positioning of the rock. If the players are sort of putting their heads over it a lot and taking a good hard look at it, there's a decent chance it's biting.
Whatever you do, don't listen to us. Don't listen to me. You can listen to Evan. His track record's decent. He's smart enough to not guess.
Yeah, that's the only way to win is not to play. No, but you see they ended up rolling out there anyways, so even if that yellow is in, it probably isn't going to matter. And it looks like it's not in because Team Smith is choosing to just freeze down to it rather than hit it out. I suppose it still could be in, but that'd be a pretty bold play to just ignore it if that was in play.
Well, if it is, another instance in that women's final where a rock kind of biting or edge of the sheet full 12 ends up being influential, just in the nature of it being difficult to remove.
Yeah, absolutely.
Clean.
Yeah, we saw that in the second end, which is what ended up forcing Lawless to take one in that end. She chose not to chase a rock way in the wings and instead played a draw to take her one.
9-4.
9-4, decent shot there for Team Larway.
Unfortunately, it sort of leaves a pretty good slash double, or they could come on the inside and play is what Farbelow is looking at.
Yeah, I think I like the inside better. If you slash, then you lose your shooter. You might push your red that's there back to the tee or behind it. Might just give an open draw for Larway to improve, get to the same situation or even a little better.
Yep.
It's a little more of a patient shot to hit and roll in, and you might have to work for access at this stone and the angle you've created, but I think it's going to be more beneficial in the long run.
I agree.
They get by the guard, which they do, just over curls a little bit. Rich likes it though.
Yeah, it's definitely not a bad place to be. The center is just a little bit more clear after that one. Their red gets promoted a hair. I do think that there's an opening here for Larway, and they're sort of discussing it. But oh, they're trying the run back here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I like the run back very much. It's a very bold call, and a miss could be disastrous without hammer here because they've got a red counter in the wings.
I think this is a good choice for Doug Kaufman to come down and talk about this.
I agree.
Can we? Well, he draws with a 4-foot for 2.
I mean, and Larway's not wrong. The draw to the 4-foot, I mean, these are two of the best teams we've got in this competition, and at least in the way they've been playing this week. And, a draw to side pin is not out of the question for them. Drawing side full 4-foot is definitely makeable at a pretty high percentage. So I like that Larway realizes that, that's definitely a risk, but I'd prefer that he play a sort of touchy game with maybe a tap rather than, potentially losing his center guard and the only cover that he's got left, sort of holding back a potential multiple.
Just 2.
Yeah, I know. Our coach in juniors, Evan, always liked to explain it. Think about poker, outs in poker, right? And that center guard, when you're Team Larway without the hammer, that's your out.
Exactly.
And if this is made really well, you're happy about it. But if it's not, you just lost, you're out.
Yep, and they're going hard on this one. This one looks like it's maybe over curling. They're keeping it pretty straight, though.
Darren's really working it. Oh, slips. And barely. Oh.
Did you hit it?
No,
according to the
it,
mics, he didn't touch it.
That's too graceful to burn it.
Too graceful to burn it. He fell. They just missed it, and they lost their center guard. So kind of the absolute worst case scenario.
Well, not quite the absolute worst. The absolute worst would be if that yellow rolled a little farther away. As it is, that still, leaves them space to hide a good rock that could at least threaten. And now their yellow is sitting on top of the red, which is exposed. So if they want to make a play on it, they can. Looks like Farbelow is going to try to take that away from him and make the play on it first with a little bit of tap and improve their angles. And just kind of scooch that yellow off to the side so it's not sort of straight frozen on top.
We got Margie Smith throwing a hit. Ends up clearing the back. And then I know we're getting into skips rocks over there.
Yep.
Hard to count them all when they're all kind of overlapped in the back of the end boards there. But this is probably, okay, considering this draw, I think this is Skip's last drawing for one.
Yep.
For Team Lawless. Back to that run back from Larway, thrown by Doug Kaufman.
Yeah.
That's one where they were so close. I think you got to keep sweeping it. But if you're any tighter than that, they could have switched gears, called the curl, and tried to slash it onto the red on the side that Joel's
I definitely don't mind that
right now.
Yeah. Just off nose.
Again, they were so close. I think that you got to keep trying to back that one out.
Yeah. And I think you've got to, at this point, make the hit because that yellow is starting to look very lonely in a sea of red here.
And it's that yellow. It's still in a good enough position where you want to make sure that Team Farbelow is the team that's moving that, not yourself. It's your Team Larway.
Yeah.
And
That's gonna flop out, and there's a chance that Farbelow can bump this off with sort of a down weight, maybe like a bumper or something, flop into the open and sit 3. I mean, there'll probably be a double there for Larway, but a double still looks like Farbelow is going to be looking at a deuce potentially, right? 3 rocks in the house.
Yeah, I mean, a likely deuce, a controlled deuce. More or less, that's a deuce, assuming that Team Larway makes a double. If they don't, it could be 3.
Yeah, it could be 3. I mean, it's a threatening position to be in. I think it all sort of comes from the choice to make that run back.
Of course, if it was made perfectly, we wouldn't be sitting here talking
Right, no,
about
of course. We'd be saying very different
But
things about
wow.
them. Oh!
Just a pivotal shot there.
Going for our lives.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, they were having to throw a pretty tough rock there. Maybe looking at a little bit more than half a yellow, but there is the jam potential on the back. I think they maybe were a little bit too afraid of that. Played it a little bit wide and ended up picking out their own.
It gets him out on the end, though.
I will say the irony is the first words out of Joel's mouth were "guard for our lives," and you don't hear that very often after you get handed a miss like that. But they still are kind of in a position where their Team Larway's best bet is to play to the middle, and as long as they do that, there'll be an outside chance to score 2 or 3 for Team Farbelow.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is those red rocks, one is removed now, but they're still sitting a couple in those wings there. I mean, that's always going to be a threat if you can't protect that one lonely yellow.
Yep. I don't like hitting those. That doesn't do us. I mean, it's kind of guarding for our lives, but a tight 3 just around that yellow one can line up on those back red is perfect. Pro side short. 10.
Yeah, so this is a pretty bold call from Larway, very different from what we've been seeing, a very low scoring sort of conservative game. Here they're saying we're going to put our foot on the gas and put the pressure on, and we're going to try to steal here or, force you to a tough one with a shot like this. But they are bringing in the risk of a big end, which hasn't really existed in the first 4 at all. Nobody's even got a sniff of a big end.
Straight!
This one, I don't know if it's going to be by the guard.
Just a little tap off that guard. They are doubleable. And I do think there's a potential here that you could double and shoot that yellow back into the other one. And I think there's a triple here potentially. It's a little hard to say. What do you think, Luke?
I like right here.
If you hit the left one on the high side,
I think it's close.
it might spin in and remove the yellow in the top 4.
I'd like to hear, what Farbs thinks.
They're talking about just playing the straight. I like this. Play the straight run, and if it hangs out, you have the chance for that sort of weird double peel and kill the yellow.
I almost think the other way around. I'd like to guarantee the double peel.
Yeah, the more I'm thinking about it, because even if you make the straight run and double them out in the back, Larway, he could either throw the double or he could sink another one, a good one, top 4 or even back 4, and sort of put the pressure on you and say that you've got to make a good draw on your last.
I think either way, either making the run or the double peel without getting the extra, Larway has to make something pretty good.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise, there's that outside chance for 2 or 3.
And it looks like they're pretty wide, so they may be going for the slash double. Oh!
Same spot.
We've been talking about it. Really, all draw. This left side has been straight for everybody. You were seeing it with Larway's draws coming back in the second end. Everything just hanging out about half a rock or a little bit more, and now a couple of pretty big whiffs from Farbelow on some of these hits.
I mean, that's
Right here.
not something that we've seen all week,
Something that
really,
you can't
from the
No.
top 6 teams
Just
in
by-
this men's field.
No, I mean that
Cannot be there. Yeah.
there really haven't been a lot of flashes from these top
Just
teams
right
at
next to
all.
that
It's
one, huh?
been a very high level of play.
Right next to it.
So
All right.
I
And it
think
can't
you
be
could hear
deep either,
how
right?
surprised Luke and I were when that did end up flashing. Not all
this
we
is
expected.
probably better. But it's probably better than setting up a double for 3.
Good point. That they're not off the hook yet.
If it's
They're not
cutting,
careful
come on down
here.
and
There's
bump
still
this
an
a little bit,
opportunity.
okay?
What a momentum swing that would be.
I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Luke, but I almost don't mind just nosing the red in the back. I mean, you basically say there's no double there that you can,
Show 'em where
get
you want
anything good, and you also
Come around over
take
there.
away the chance of a rogue,
next to that
really
other one.
really good run
Just
back,
touch the
giving
floor.
a
Just touch the
deuce
floor.
for red.
Not a bad call. I
Not
mean,
much.
at this stage in the week, you'd hope to be hard
Yeah, you wouldn't have got
without
that
feeling
there.
like there's much risk, but this track's been unpredictable.
95
Mostly on the
is a little bit
hits, but
positive.
still, and you can't afford to hang it out or wreck.
Yep.
I guess the wreck's not too bad because I think that center guard's not going anywhere. Not
Yeah.
often that wreck is worse than hanging it out a half a rock, but this cannot be just hung out
Take
a
a
half
look.
rock wide.
Yep.
And it is.
Got a curl.
If it is a half
Wide
rock
and
wide, you need to
not
leave
light.
it like
Straight.
top 12, I think.
Oh,
They're
now
going
it's
straight
moving.
on it.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh, it's close.
Wait only! Wait only!
This is looking really good.
That's not the end of the world.
No, not at all. I
Oh.
think they were trying to go on top of it, but it's not really rock that Team Farbelow can use as backing.
No, I mean, you've basically got to make this draw cold. If you throw extra weight, you're just bouncing off and probably giving 1, maybe 2, depending on where you hit that back one. That's a great throw, and that puts a lot of pressure on here.
Yeah, arguably it might be better than going top 8. Right?
I honestly kind of agree. I mean, if you go top 8, I think there's a possibility for like a run triple. You know what I mean? Clear things out. And if you leave it a little wide and you're like top 8, then it's a pretty easy double for 2, maybe 3. So this is a great shot. And we'll see what Farbelow can do to answer.
Good weight.
Ruinen and Solon. Back and forth on the sweep.
They're staying close
Light,
on it.
clean.
They like it.
Sweep it to T.
You can hear Farbelow there. He wants to make sure the shot's made.
It's close. It's not light, but it's on a line where it might just get a little help from the backing. I'll turn on them both here. Let's see what the verdict is. I think 1 yellow.
I believe that's what it looked like.
That's kind of a game-shifting, momentum-shifting steal there for Team Larway.
It is. I think that's maybe a little bit, unusual for Larway. When we've seen Larway play against these top teams, it's been sort of a very traditional force without and, take your deuce with has sort of been their MO this whole week. But that was a pretty powerful steal there.
Looking across the sheets here, Team Mariano on sheet 2 was forced to 1 in the 5th end. They take a 1-point lead without the hammer into 6. I believe we had handshakes in the men's bronze game over on sheet 5. That's Team Pustovar with a 9-3 final. Congratulations, Team Pustovar.
Yep, they looked pretty angry, I guess, after the semifinals and took it out on their bronze medal match opponents. Very dominant.
Tough draw for Team LeClair.
Yep.
I know not the game either of them wanting to be playing in.
No.
But, having something around your neck's better than nothing. So,
That's true.
Congratulations to Team Pustovar.
Got a touch. Got a touch. Attaboy, John.
Good sweeping to bring that yellow back to the center line so it cannot be removed.
Yeah, Team Lawless had a draw come a little deep on sheet 4. 2 of them back there. Team Smith does have the hammer with a 1-point lead in this 6th end. But Team Lawless has 2 center guards that, unless they're removed, are going to give them somewhere to hide late in the end.
Yep. And here you see Smith is playing the draw around the center guard, so they're probably not looking to peel. If you're looking to peel, you'd make the peel play right now. So they're looking to just fight for him, fight for the forefoot with Lawless here, and that's really what Lawless is probably looking for if they want to try to manufacture a steal here out of nothing. And this one's coming heavy for Smith, and it's not even counting. That's not what they want to see.
Room, ton of room. Curl at the end. It's 15-1.
15-1. Thanks for the insight there, Joel. I think that's pretty consistent to what we've seen in the second half of this week. That was a medium sweep to the top forefoot. Great speed. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Once again, though, this left side of the sheet here, not burying that yellow rock. We're seeing it time and time again. It keeps biting these teams.
Good line.
Now, left side of the sheet from the perspective of the overheads, not that kind of direct view to the glass that you see in the bottom central portion of the screen.
Here it comes. Good line.
And curling sheets really need something like port or starboard that you can talk about that's always sort of relative to something or other.
We kind of have in turn and out turn, but of course that's
then
biased
when
to
you have
one-handed.
right,
approach.
a lefty and a righty, it changes everything up.
Or this.
Or even
Just
worse on
board.
our Super League team with two lefties.
That is true. When there's one lefty, you can kind of ignore him, but when there are two, it's a little bit too hard to get rid of him, really.
At least we don't forget as often.
That's true.
Nick's good at reading my mind, knowing which intern I'm talking about.
Yep.
Hurry!
Unspoken telepathy. They're going hard on the sweep here. Larway is. They're
Gotta go,
trying to
John.
Pick out this red on the side. They need to get by this guard. Looks like it's on it.
John. Yeah, you see it.
And the guard gets replaced.
Free guard zone violation.
Yep, that's an unfortunate one.
First 5 rocks of the end. Any rock that is a guard not touching the rings cannot be removed from play. They're kind of talking about, hey, I see it. A lot of times if the ice temperature is just right and a rock's been there long enough, there's a little ring in the ice left from the running surface, and you can use that to replace the stone. Otherwise, it's kind of just best judgment, and ultimately the non-offending team has final say where it goes.
Good line.
All right, and Farbelow going after this exposed Larway stone on the left side here. Just a little down weight tap onto it. Oh, they're a little wide. They're hanging out. Actually improve Larway's position a little bit and roll to the back forefoot.
I think we got to play this. Just 2.
They're playing just a little hit and roll here. And I think you've got to start removing reds. They're starting to stack up around that yellow.
Whoa.
You know, we talked about how kind of pivotal of a steal it was for Team Larway in the 5th end, but really if Team Farbelow just hangs a deuce, 2 points in this end, they're right back in control.
Sit.
Yep. And that's not going to
9-9.
outcount the red on the side. That's unfortunate for them.
Still some work for Team Farbelow with that center guard, though.
Yep. One of the things that I've got to note, though, is that, you know, Team Farbelow has been so close on these runbacks a couple of times now where they're just missing it by an inch or so. And, I mean, you know, I don't think they're going to keep missing these runbacks by that little for forever. You know, you're going to start seeing a couple of these get made because they're throwing them well enough.
A lot of weight from Bills to Para. I wonder if a triple's possible. They're not
I think this one is
liking
wide.
it.
That's just going to be a straight peel. Oh, goes into the back one.
Yeah, double's good.
Yeah. Yep. I don't think that yellow in the wings there was causing anybody too much trouble, but
That makes sure we can score.
Well, it could end up being a force rock later.
That
if
is
it
true.
Ends up kind
Yeah.
Tap this back.
of be opening up like it did.
yeah. And now look at this. Larway is forced to play under the corner guard, not where they want to be playing, but because they sort of lost a rock to that free guard zone violation.
Hack.
They're really behind in tempo, and they're going to be chasing through this end unless they can make something
You
really
don't like
killer.
you don't like tapping this back? It's perfectly even with this one. Just move it 2 feet.
Thinking about bringing the weight down. Doug Kaufman playing a 2-foot
Got a
bump.
call.
Now, as long as this is close, they're not in a bad spot,
Curl
but there's
down,
no
curl,
option
curl,
for
got nothing.
Larway to generate offense in there. This is heavy. Their
Curl,
only
curl,
hope
curl,
is to
curl,
touch
curl, curl, curl.
a piece of the
Give it
red.
something.
They get a piece.
Oh, but that's not what they want to see.
Unfortunately, it's probably just more buried now, and their shooter rolls through. The door is open for Team Farbelow.
Two up.
Yeah.
And now Larway's in some trouble here. They're going to have a hard time keeping the deuce from happening.
Rich is a little
Let's go
disappointed.
three.
He wanted to flop to the wing a little bit more. There is a double here. At least a hit and roll next to it. I think they're just going for the hit and roll next to it. Double would
Yeah.
take a lot of weight.
Whoa.
Right off all the
He's
way.
got a curl.
Asking Darren to get a little curl. Not sure it's going to be enough.
God, baby.
They got to be lucky if they can stick in.
Yeah.
Just a few too many sort of hit and roll outs here for Larway in this end.
Yeah, kind of like the reverse of last end.
I don't
Where
really love
Exactly.
this.
yeah, free guard zone and a couple of rollouts, and all of a sudden,
No.
they're 2 rocks behind here.
Now, I mean, this is a really scary spot where they could be looking at 3, right? Another
Oh, yeah.
rock behind this corner guard, and you're sitting 2 out in the wings behind the corner. Larway doesn't really have any tools to force play to the center, and if they've got to be placing or chasing and playing taps, they've only got 2 skips rocks left. They don't really have the freedom to be able to peel this corner and try to make runbacks or anything. They've just got to fight for them under the corner and hope they don't give away too much.
This is made well,
Oh,
which
they're
Bill is
splitting the house.
right off. Oh, they are splitting
Up.
the house, yeah.
Got
A
to
little
grind.
safer for 2. Yeah, better chance at scoring 2 playing up to the wing, but much less likely that you score 3. Got to stick around, though.
And Doug Kaufman manages
Wow.
to sweep that one out through the
Big
back.
sweep from Doogie.
That's a really painful miss for Farbelow. I mean, they sort of had the Larway had sort of left the end wide open for him. Those are the ones you
Great
want.
draw.
You really want those back.
Really
Yep.
feeling for Rich right now.
I
This has
see
kind of
you
been
here.
2-3
Give us
ends
the
in a
right
row where all of a sudden out of nowhere he's just can't quite seem to buy one.
Well, I think it's happening a little bit to both teams, to be
Yeah.
honest. I mean, the I don't know if it's the ice conditions changing on them or what, but the accuracy has just been a little bit less sharp.
I know.
A few more mistakes than we've been seeing in the past games from both of these teams.
And these are our seasoned veterans, but they also do feel some pressure too.
Yeah.
They,
Touch more,
everyone
Doogie.
playing in these games out
Little
here
more.
cares a lot about it, and they
Little
want to
more.
win. And
Absolutely.
pressure does it. Well,
7.
they say that pressure is all
Corner frozen on
internal
that one.
anyways, but it more or less perceived however you want to
Well,
think
not
about
doing
it.
a little
It's a
bit.
factor.
Yeah. I mean, curling's 90% internal too, so I mean, if you want to look at it that way.
All right, got it there, guys.
Yes, it is.
Line's good. Line's good. Line's good. Give him a number. Take a look. Take a look. No bounce. No bounce. Ah. Clean it. Clean it. Clean it. Whoa.
Little bump. That's a great
That's a
shot
great
from Team
throw.
Larway. We're going to take a peek at sheet 2 a little bit here as well. Big shot for Team Dukes if they can make this hit, punch out, and stick, and they do. They are lying for, with the hammer, Sheila Mariano's last rock about to be delivered. The only out is this freeze underneath the corner guard.
You don't see the crosshouse quad, Luke, hitting the one on the top left, wheeling up off the back one and into the other two.
Yeah, it's tempting.
I think only you'd be tempted by that one, Luke.
I think you need to throw that about 2.5 seconds.
Probably. Farbelow coming down here with his first shot, drawing in, trying to get the freeze. It's a little wide, a little hot, and they bump out into the open. And now the end is you know, salvaged for Larway all of a sudden.
Well, now the question is, do you just hit and flop to the middle, or kind of a groan in the crowd? Not a little heavy for Sheila. Now it's going to be an open draw for 5
Oh,
for Team Dukes. You know, Team Dukes is a 1-point deficit here, so this is an important shot. If they only come away with a 4, a 4 is pretty good. It's a 3-point lead, and you know there's nothing stopping Team Mariano from just scoring 3 in the 7th end and
it's
being tied coming home. So I think
absolutely
huge difference between being up 3 and up 4 going
yeah,
into
the,
7.
the difference in pressure between 3 and 4 is honestly huge. 3 feels a lot more manageable.
He can get to the inside of that. This 2, get ready to hold it, Darren. Whoa.
Did they decide to roll under or roll to the open?
They're trying to curl it. Yeah, they're
Roll
trying to
open.
roll open there.
Good
That's
shot.
a great throw. That's a great force.
Oh, need a hit and stick around in the 8-foot for Team Farbelow here.
Yep,
Not one you want to take for granted.
absolutely.
That's kind of what I was thinking the first time, but
Yeah, steal here for
Then
Team
he's gotta draw
Larway.
down.
Really puts them ahead. If Team Farbelow is able to score 1 here, then it's just 1 in
still
each.
got a timeout.
Well, with the hammer,
Now,
they get a force and then take 2. Very
I'd-
manageable.
I'd normally not want to say anything, but Luke, they are playing the outturn side again on sheet 3.
Yeah, they are.
This deadly, dastardly outturn side that has been the bane of these teams so far.
Well, here it is.
This is a crucial shot.
Hit and stick. You know, he could just be playing a lot less weight, too.
That's what I'm kind of hoping, because this does look like a decent amount of ice.
Asking him to work it a little bit early.
Having the
I think
brooms
that's a
on it
good
is a
sign.
better sign. Yep.
Yes. Just a medium sweep. Bill's really calling him on, though. It's getting close to that center line. He's got to keep working it.
Doogie's going to try to take this out, but it's not going to move enough.
No problem.
That's a great shot. My fear was that they might have been watching that, go the whole way down, just like the other ones, and trying to curl it from the outside, which hasn't been working great. But they called the right ice, threw a good rock, and are in a good spot.
Take a look at Lawless Smith here. I think this is second for Team Smith?
Deuce or
No,
what?
I think maybe
No,
thirds
we're
first.
past that. Yep.
And then we can call timeout and take in
Third,
4-20.
second. That's how that works.
Yeah. Third, second.
All right, guys, play well.
They'd really like to make this double here. They're sweeping
There
hard
are
on
the
it.
Shelleys, both on the straight side.
And they catch the
Don't
inside
get
edge.
the double, but again, they keep their shooter around.
Yep.
They'll have another opportunity.
And especially, when you're in a situation where sort of the percentage of execution goes down a little bit due to the ice becoming trickier and teams learning to manage that, just making the half shot sometimes can be a lot more valuable, right? Even though you didn't make the double or roll straight in front of them, you're giving them another rock to throw out. It's another opportunity for them to miss. Whereas if you just flopped out, then it's a free draw somewhere. They're hard on the curl, Team Lawless, but they're going to get it. I would have liked to see them maybe sweep that to maybe lie for a slash rather than
Good
giving
line.
him a pretty easy
Gonna curl
nose
to
double
center.
here.
You got weight too. You're there. It's going to finish hard. Don't get off the center.
Line's good. Curl. Curl at the end. Easy, easy, easy. Just here, just here. 14, 15, 15. No, higher the better. Curl, curl. That's good, that's good, that's good. Attaboy.
And another double. Oh, just missed again. So Margie Smith on her first. So, you can keep your shooter around, stay patient, but eventually you do run out of opportunities.
I know, and that was looking like one of the best opportunities for a double you're going to get. So that feels
Good line. Got to go, though.
it's a bummer to miss that opportunity there. They're probably not going to have an easier double than that through the rest of the end unless it gets wired up or something.
Good shot, Tim. That away. Great shot. Needed that one.
Yeah, I think so. Sit on the corner. Well, if you can. Well, if you can. Wait only. Curl. Curl at the end.
Oh, well,
15-6.
interesting development
Go,
on sheet
go.
2 with the
Go,
missed
go.
open hits. I mean, it was not an open hit. They're playing the
It is
pick
done.
double,
Yeah.
going for about a third of the rock. That's not easy. Yeah, whenever you play those thinner shots, right? Of course, a whiff is more in play.
Yeah. So that was a 5 hung in the 6th end. So Mariano on sheet 2 is sitting 2, sitting with 2 reds in the house, looking to put a third one in there and maybe try to claw back a little bit of that deficit.
A lot of rocks left, yeah. You can throw one on that side, too.
Nice freeze from Team Lawless.
What if we throw it up to the right, then we got the hook around?
I don't think there's a whole lot Team Smith can do to prevent Lawless scoring 2 now. I think they're just going to hit and stick and hope for a rollout. I mean, even if Lawless does score 2, Team Smith takes the hammer coming home. I think,
Yep.
you asked any team that came to this event if they'd be happy tied with coming home in the last end of the championship final, and they'd all take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lot of room. You're probably going to be back here.
I think
That's a lot. Yeah, you're going to be back here for sure.
Got a wreck on stone top 12 over on sheet 2, so another chance for Team Mariano to make a good freeze. If this freeze is made, it's early enough in the end where even if that open rock is removed, they could stack a few subsequent freezes and maybe have an outside chance at 3 or 4. That nose hit is made from Team Smith. And now here we're going to have Team Lawless's hit and stick to score 2 and tie up the game.
It's going to come down to the wire. We've seen a lot of good steals made this week. A lot of good comebacks.
Darren throwing some weight here on sheet 3, trying to move some granite. Just going to get 1.
Yep.
And that works.
A lot of room again.
Dave Sinnott. I think I know that guy. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Dave is somewhere a lot warmer than Seattle. Hope you guys are enjoying your trip. Not sure I'd be tuning in to watch more curling. But appreciate you guys. Here's Team Larway. I think just calling the straight peel again.
Whoa! Off! John!
On this left side here, playing pretty straight. Looks like they're going to get a piece. Yeah.
Oh, no problem. Just clean it. Darren's been playing really solid this week.
Yep.
Maybe I should save that comment for one more end, but I have faith.
You got to be careful as the commentator throwing around words like that, Luke.
Well, if I let enough of them rip, then they got to start canceling each other out.
That's true. Just compliment everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's still an even playing field.
Back over on sheet 2, another big sweep. I think this rock's looking good. Just got to get by the top. They do. I think they lie, maybe 1, 3, 4, 5, something like that.
I mean, yeah, but what really matters is just the sheer number of reds that they've got in there. And, if Dukes doesn't manage to put something
Straight peel.
in an undouble, and here's the timeout for them. They know that this is an important call. They've got to put a rock in a good spot.
Hurry!
I don't know. You got to take it up there.
Hurry!
Big sweep from Darren. Doogie's trying to make a few more rocks move. 1, 2. Great shot.
Oh, my God.
Oh, they couldn't quite save the one off the boards.
don't know
They're
what
going
we
to
did.
have a conversation here to replace it. Doogie's been on a little bit of a cold spell. Not anymore.
That's a killer throw.
Right on the button, frozen.
Hear a little bit of the banter
Did
between
anyone-
the
you see
teams
this?
there.
Yeah, Rich
that
bringing
right?
in his law skills.
What do you think? Rich!
And let's see if he can follow up with his shooting skills. And Doogie just made, I don't remember the shot well enough to know exactly what to call it, but an opportunity for a triple for Rich. They might just be playing a double, though. Yeah, I think he's just going to play double, maybe throw normal or firm weight, just paper that guard and get the 2 in the house.
Yeah.
Be lying to afterwards.
I am a little bit worried about that yellow around the tee line going back into the red there. Always also a possibility, depending on how you hit this one.
Needs to curl a little bit. Whoa, doesn't quite touch it.
No. Yeah, and I love the hit and roll here for Larway.
2 up.
Sort of just, if you keep sort of removing redstones and trimming down the rocks in the house, you are keeping that possibility of a blank alive. And a blank in 7 going into 8 with the hammer is always a great position to be in, especially when you've got
Call.
great draws like Joe Larway does.
Shooter, John. Shooter.
Wanted a little more roll.
9-8.
Going to leave a very similar shot for Farbelow.
That's all right.
Farbelow, who is looking to take the Dr. Double title.
Yeah, I mean, he
his
has so
teammate.
far.
He's made a couple of really impressive doubles. And another one here would just be a great notch in his belt.
That's a double over the top. The blanks in play.
Yeah,
Those
good.
are-
Well, interesting point from Joel. He could make the double over the top, and I think there's a high chance that Farbelow would roll out then. And then it's a tough decision for Joel. Joel would love a blank so he could hit and stick in the back. But even if he makes it, I think Team Farbelow will just come under the center guard and they're not going to have a chance to blank anyways.
Now, I'd be a little bit worried about that because if you throw that and then leave it half open for like a bumper weight hit,
1, 2.
and it's
The
not
new
even a question.
Dr. Double
double.
is in the house.
Yep. And
Just
the
off
yellows
those.
are out of the house.
3.
Couldn't throw much weight. It was fish scaling all over the place.
Larway's going to go for the
3
hit,
weight double.
and ideally the double. You might be able to double and roll behind that center guard there.
Massive swing of events over on sheet
Listen to
2.
me the first half.
Now all of a sudden, went from 5 reds in the rings to just 1, soon to be none.
Take
Take a
close.
closer look at sheet 4 here too. Once this
Cole,
shot
Cole.
from Joel comes to rest, really has there and
Wide.
lean on it. Yeah, it's
Really
gotta
out
go.
there.
Not gonna get it.
Just straight on the nose.
Yeah, Joel's gonna be thrown against 2 here.
Well, I'm actually not entirely sure about that. So if you
Okay.
look at this, the roll inside, they need to get the roll inside to count red in the rings, right, and actually get the force
A
here.
little bit of curl there.
But if they roll inside, it does bring in the jam possibility
I think
on their
red
own
shot.
red.
Yeah, good question.
Close. I wouldn't take my word on it.
Good question.
Yeah,
Looking-
I think they are as well. But what I'm
Same
saying
with
is
us
that
here,
the
I don't think
you
we
know
do it
if
in the books.
red's got a draw here,
That
they can't
blocked
hit
off
that
our
yellow in
foot
the
for
front.
sure.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Needs to
there
be
is
made well.
there is a possibility that this could also leave a double potentially if it hangs out or
Well,
goes deep.
it's a bit gutsy, but you could slash the rock that's just left behind, make a double, and maybe spill and bowl everything in blank.
That's definitely possible. Not likely, I'd say, but possible.
All right, so taking a look at sheet 4, women's final, 8th end. Most likely the last end unless there's a blank. And Team Smith's just going to be peeling out a center guard here. They have shot rock biting back 4. Just trying to eliminate tools that Team Lawless can use.
And that's a pretty good draw there, just a back pin, really shrinking the rings on Larway.
Anything in the rings, out count that one's good too.
You really want to take the one here, go up one into the
14-8
last
on
end.
that, give 'em
It's
a
playable, down one without, but I think the way that this game has been going,
Yeah, I really like
14-8
whoever
on
has the
that.
lead.
yeah, I mean, you no multiples here, just ones sort of back and forth.
Got to play it safe around that guard. If we,
I'd feel a lot better with the 1 point lead going into the last, and then I'd feel down. But who knows? Maybe we'll see a little bit more aggression out of these guys, and if they're forced to play aggressive, we might see some bigger ends.
And you heard Joel talking about playing it safe. You can't wreck her. You got to get by and at least limit the damage to 1. So the safest way to play this is back 8, back 4 weight.
off.
Ooh. That's got to stop.
Off.
I think the 1 is completely out the window for Larway. The question is, will it be 1 or 2 for Farbelow?
It's really scooting.
Just
Oh,
1.
just barely.
I don't mind that.
Yeah, Joel. Way to
94.
reframe it.
Yep.
Like we said, there haven't been any deuces yet, but no better time for the first one than in the 8th end.
Absolutely.
You know, I'd say if you're Team Farbelow, this is a little uncomfortable for them. Not sure that they've ever had a lead coming into an 8th end.
That's true. Farbelow's been fighting from behind for a long time. We'll see how they do when they've got a lead.
Rich is down talking to Mike and taking a little extra time than normal. I don't know if they know what to do with themselves here. Can also hear Joel saying, play quick, we have a timeout. My guess is they might have somewhere around 3 minutes left on their clock instead of the ideal 4. They just have to play the end a little more quickly than usual.
Yep.
But as long as they're decisive on their first 4 rocks of the end, they'll be in a pretty good spot to use their timeout and take whatever time they need to determine what to do with their last few rocks. Oh, Team Lawless throwing a come around the rock top 12 here. Not sure how much it curled, but I think they like it.
Get over, Carl.
Team Smith is lining up this long double peel with a bonus triple potential for Ann Swisshelm.
Corner. Just here. Attaboy, Joe.
And makes a lot of rocks move. I think that's a pretty good shot from our Olympian.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to see Lawless just put one up in front of their rock on the top button. I mean, it's, got to be a steal here from Lawless. And they've got, half of it set up, right? One on the top 4 is sort of one half of the equation, and they need a good center guard in front of it as the other half. But this is looking kind of hot. Sweepers are standing pretty far away from this one. They really want to be able to protect this. It's hanging out there.
I mean, they do have a rock in perfect scoring position, Team Lawless does right now.
Exactly, but they need to guard it, and this one
It's
is
at least deep.
It's deep. They're bringing it into the top 8, maybe biting top 4. That's not what they were looking for there, but it's another rock. I think. God, I'm not sure if it's out counting that red in the back 4.
Regardless, a chance for a double, maybe a triple for Annie here.
Got a curl.
I think the triple's kind of irrelevant. The big thing's clearing the middle.
Go deep. Can you go deep?
Not going to say irrelevant, but the key is removing
14,
those 2
8,
rocks
curl,
near
curl,
the center line.
Curl.
Yep.
Get something under.
Rock is in motion.
That's good.
Halfway down the sheets. Well, on,
They're
off.
on, off. It looks
Leg
good.
clean. On again.
And there's a great double.
1, 2. Great shot. Really good pair from Annie.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but Lawless has this sneaky little hit and roll behind that they're eyeing up.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty good shot if it's made well. I think at this point, barring something crazy happening, but in the next 2 rocks, I think Smith has really secured themselves, probably at least a draw to the full forfeit.
Yeah, it looks like. And you've got to be pretty happy with that. And now Lawless is just going to be hoping to make a couple good shots and force a miss out of Smith to try to get their steal.
Bill Stapera's draw there just bounces a little bit. Team Farbelow had a really good setup. They've got 2 center guards. Play is in the middle right now. Exactly what Farbelow wants.
No.
An opportunity
Draw
to
to
lie
here.
2 for Team Larway, but bunched in the middle.
Yep.
Team Farbelow will have all end to bump those around and generate an opportunity to lie it on top of something near the center line.
Stay close.
Looking a little hot. Sweepers aren't really wanting to touch it.
Curl!
They've got backing in that red rock there. We'll see if they can make it to it.
Curl! Whoa.
Removes it, but I wonder if that leaves a double.
I think it probably does.
I think I like this.
Yeah, really a freeze in the pocket.
Yeah.
Possibly even more ideal.
Now we're here.
Yeah, I mean, because that, a good freeze sort of sets up for a potential force, but also you could promote it up and end up taking a shot later for a steal. So, once again, force for Farbelow gets him set up good with a hammer in the last end, and a steal sets him up even better with a win.
Good line. You got it.
I'm not sure what the final call from Team Lawless was.
No bump here. No bump.
Possibly a center guard or maybe a freeze.
What
But
I think it's kind of hard to see on the layout, but under the S is a sort of off center guard. I think they were maybe trying to draw behind that, and it just went through the house.
Sit right on the nose. If the weight's there, then we'll bump it back here. But that's great.
where do we think Team Smith's going on this first shot of
Yes.
Margie's?
I think it looks like she's just playing the hit on that yellow. Maybe she's drawing in. It's kind of hard to tell. It's iced for kind of both. I wouldn't mind seeing her just put something in the top 8. Like we were talking about before, that yellow on the outside, yeah, they're tapping top 8.
Yep.
The yellow on the outside isn't really threatening anything.
Got a curl.
Chasing it doesn't really manage to do much, but if you can control that top 8 foot, there's-
Curl.
then Lawless is going to have to make a pretty miraculous shot to chase the back.
Far as it goes.
the
Far
red in
as
the
it
back
goes. Far as it
four.
goes.
Good shot, great
That's a
sweep.
really
from-
important shot.
I mean, the
that.
angles weren't perfect for him in the end, but more or less that accomplishes their objective.
And that's Farbelow's timeout they call right there. I think it's a good timing. There's a lot of angles to look at here. And it gives them a chance to sort of plan forward into the end a little bit.
Talk about this a little, huh?
On sheet 4, they seem to like where that rock is going to. They just want it top 8 here.
Keep it clean. Really good spot.
That's a great spot because, they'll still outcount in the back unless the double is made. And this is Lawless's last shot. So if you make the double, you somehow have to find a way to get that shooter into a spot where it is not only shot rock, but also protected from just being cleaned out.
Yeah. Still have this out here too. For one.
Then we got our tap.
We need it.
A lot going on between these two sheets here.
Yep,
with,
I like this.
The timeout on sheet 3, as well as the last
Well,
shot of the
if you're
game
there,
for
that's
Team
fine.
Lawless coming down on sheet 4.
Yeah, but if you're here, what are they going to do?
I think
We're
Lawless
gonna
is
have to scrap all day.
more or less just kind of trying to hit and roll
In
to a
here, that's
spot
fine.
where a short red run back would
What do you
jam on
think,
the
Reds,
back
right
line.
here?
Yes, huh?
I think they can be just shot like half 4 foot and line that up. Difficult shot to make perfectly. I think a good chance is they slightly over or under roll, and Margie Smith will just more or less have solid contact on that red in the top 8 foot.
Yep.
And if it over curls at all, may not have to throw. Here it is, Tracy Lawless. Last shot of the game.
They're going hard on the inside here.
Been sweeping all the way. Hits it. Gets it. I think it overrolls.
Right.
And as long as they're confident, that red is closer.
Yeah,
that
and
will be
there are the handshakes.
handshakes.
A little bit.
Congratulations to Team Smith on defending their title. They are your 2023 Senior Women's National Champions.
Just a really well played game and an honestly
Wrap it
very
up,
impressive
one
week from them. Their semifinals game was impressive. Their finals game was impressive. Well deserved and well earned, honestly.
Okay.
Hugs all around. I'm sure
I'd
they're
like to be
very
line two,
excited to be heading to Gangneung, South Korea. And now the
Full
question is, which men's team will be joining them?
Roll. Roll if you can. Roll if you can. Wait only. Wait only. Curl. Curl.
Trying to get this one to bend in here.
15-3. 15-3. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
They're going hard on it. They need to bring this deeper. They really want this to count.
Every inch. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Phenomenal
A
shot.
beautiful shot. The crowd is going crazy in here. A lot of support for the
Now you
hometown
gotta
team.
hit this. Give me a little.
The hurt is on for Team Farbelow.
Yep.
Got to get it some space for
You
me.
were saying it before, you know,
What do you-
if
I
there's
mean,
ever a
depending
time
what
to
way- you
get a
don't need to
deuce,
throw bombs.
great time is the 8th end and the, you know, in the gold medal match.
Okay.
Looking at the fisheye overhead of doubt, I do think that Team Larway is, I mean, I don't want to say only, but it's just, they're not like they're sitting 4, they're sitting 2 here.
Right.
So if, you know, if they can keep a shooter around here, Rich Ronan and Team Farbelow, and remove one of those yellows, maybe 2, but even just one, you know,
Mhm.
they put themselves in a position with 2 more good shots to follow up. They might have a chance to get out of this precarious situation. Here's some weight coming down for Rich.
A lot of mustard on this one.
Got a curl.
Okay.
They don't mind it. It opens things. Yeah, my
That
first
helps.
instinct for them was to play less weight and keep a shooter, but
I think that trying to control that access, you know,
Yeah.
is a lot more important there. And you're kind of seeing the angles. I don't think were good enough for them to just throw weight at it and hope that it ended up good. And you're seeing that with Larway sitting 3 and potentially 4. There's no access to the 4-foot from the right side here for Farbelow. Last path is on the left, and Doug Kaufman, with his last rock, is going to try to block that path off.
I mean, if this is anywhere from full
Line's good.
12
Line's
to
good.
top 4,
Just
there
touch 4.
aren't many
Just touch
options
4.
for Team Farbelow.
No.
15-1.
It's a little more weight than
touch
that
4.
15-3. It's got to stop.
Clean it. Nope, nope, nope. Never, 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 never.
That's looking pretty good.
A little more. Yeah, it is.
The crowd loves it.
Yeah.
There's definitely a chance to follow down and tap. It came a little bit heavier, I think, than Larway would have liked
I
it.
got the run in, right?
And even, you know, on they've got 2 more rocks left. On their last one, they'll also have this sort of left side run here as well. And their run backs have been pretty sharp all game. So even though Larway is sitting in a pretty strong position, it is not beyond
4-0 should
Farbelow
be real
to
good, right?
find something out of this. And, you know, you were talking about it earlier, Luke. They've been coming from behind all week. Maybe this is just their way to find a way to be sort of behind in position in the last end so that they can manage to come from behind in the finals, too.
I like the thinking there. I think this is a 2-shot plan.
Absolutely.
That they're changing from the hack. Considering that they're changing from the hack, they might be low on time.
Back circle the hack. Yep, right there.
They've already used their timeout.
Yeah.
They may be able to see more of this yellow than they thought they could. Right?
That'd be my guess.
It's possible that they're throwing hack weight at this. I wonder if that double there, you know, if you get the nose and sort of double those yellows out and control this in-turn side.
I think it's getting your shooter in a good position and moving a rock or 2 behind the tee line.
Yeah, I agree.
A little wide. Tim Solon.
They're
Yep,
trying
now
to
he's
work
all
it.
the way on the carve.
I don't think they're getting to this
Looks
yellow like
wide
they wanted.
and heavy.
All the way out, baby.
Not the yellow they were looking for.
And a little roll out.
I mean, I think that leaves maybe a hit and roll enough to be shot. I think it rolls too deep off of that side red.
It might be, yeah. But once again, I mean, if you could just cut off the one yellow, that's good enough, right?
Yep.
To at least tie it up, and then you can look for a steal in the extra end.
He can go here.
And we're seeing handshakes on sheet 2 as well, it looks like. That game, Dukes takes the bronze medal over Mariano.
Congratulations,
got
Team
to-
Dukes.
Absolutely.
Or, you know, he could come
Here,
to
close
nose.
this timeout.
If he can get to nose here, But we're still line 2 unless he moves it all the way back here. What if we play here, just in case he makes this, then we got this.
I'm a little bit worried about where
Tap down
Larway
a foot.
tapped there. You could set up a triple potentially.
Well, I don't think you want to tap it too far because then he's got...
One of
Well,
those
he's got out
situations
down
where you
that,
think
but
about what Farbelow's throwing if you don't throw at all right now.
Right.
pro side short and just sit here.
I think there is a double they need to address.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Just tap it.
Yeah. Tap
2
freeze.
inches.
Yep. I like it.
2-inch tap.
I don't mind that at all. Maybe a little bit more than 2 inches, but I think 2 inches is probably fine.
Okay.
Solid timeout from Coach
It
Kenny.
curls really
Yep.
well at the end.
Yep.
All right, guys. Yep, tap it a foot. The rock is perfect. Frozen is probably pro side. As long as we aren't on an angle. Okay. Gotta miss that guard by about a foot to make this
Now I
shot.
think if they make this shot perfectly, the best thing that Farbelow can look
Zero.
for is probably a double on this in-turn side and then force Larway to make another draw to the 4-foot for the deuce.
I really like Joel's comment in the hack there, telling his sweepers how much they need to clear the guard by. That's a great
Line's good.
visual cue that helps them
Line's
judge,
good.
weight in relation to line.
Yep.
Clean it. Straight, straight, straight.
Nice and daring to hold
Take
this
a
one.
look.
It's
Take a
under
look.
control.
Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, they got a lot of mustard on it.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just a little overcooked.
I don't know if that's good.
I don't know if it's bad either, though.
That's true. I wonder if I don't think there's a triple there. Maybe if you glance that top button yellow really thin. And the question is, how much time does Farbelow have to be looking at this?
Angle run. I don't think a lot, but they
Yeah, I
seem
mean,
to
they're
pretty
moving-
quickly decide.
They're moving pretty fast.
I think even if you were able to make a triple and it somehow clears like that other red, your back yellow would still count and there'd still be a bump for 2.
Well, it looks like the red on the right is out counting the yellow. So if you could
Oh, yeah.
sit
Just
2,
freeze.
you'd make Larway throw
Oh, yeah.
a double, right? So I mean, it's
True.
you're not going to be in a great position the way this end is shaped up, but we'll see. So this run back here, they'd love to stick a red in the 4-foot and double out a
Sam's
couple.
really working
They're
it.
working hard on it.
It's close.
They're getting off. It's close.
That's not going to do it. Team Larway.
Takes the gold medal.
Good job, guys. Congratulations.
The crowd goes wild.
Good job, guys.
Fist pumps from Doogie. Joel's got his hands in the air.
They managed to do it. They've reclaimed their missing Worlds run that COVID took from them. The fans are pounding on the glass up here with us.
First deuce of the game.
First deuce of the game in the 8th end. Luke, you said something about that, didn't you, before we went into that one?
I did. They pulled a Farbelow.
And they did. They came from below. Not too far below.
Oh, man.
Honestly, an impressive finals game from both teams. That was, honestly, all of the finals games were really neck and neck, nail-biter games.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we just look across all the scores here, I mean, Sheet 2, Dukes defeats Team Mariano from the Granite Curling Club 9-4. Mariano had a really good week. I think this was not only their first nationals, their first week playing together as a team. And
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking to Sheila Mariano before, in between the semifinals and the final draw. She was saying that the team had sort of gotten together a week before the senior registration, and this is sort of some of their first games ever getting to play together outside of practice. And, you've got to be proud, even coming in 4th, from a situation like that where you don't have that much experience playing together. It's an impressive run. And of course, congratulations to Dukes, who managed to grab that bronze medal. Also impressive play from them, certainly.
Yeah, then, of course, over on Sheet 3. Now, don't go anywhere, folks. I think in about 10, 15 minutes or so, the closing ceremonies and award presentations are going to start. We are going to stay live here and cover the duration of the ceremonies. So please stay tuned, especially if you're interested in watching Team Larway and Smith celebrate their victories here.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, going to Sheet 3, Larway versus Farbelow. Yeah, it was a battle of singles, some blanks at key times. And, yeah, it really just came down to that, what was it, the steal of one from Larway in the fifth end.
In 5, and then the steal from Farbelow in 7. I mean, both sort of huge steals there. I just remember the first 2 blanks that they had in those first 2 ends, keeping it really clean, and then Larway getting the first force, and then getting forced right back.
Yep, and of course the 8th end on top of it, and then you go look over at Sheet 4. The game was played fairly clean, back and forth. I mean, like we said earlier, there was a few times where they were just choosing to ignore rocks on the side of the wings, keep things as simple as they could, and avoid falling behind by much. Ended up being tied coming home from Team Smith, and Margie didn't have to throw her last rock.
Yep. I mean, that's always a good situation. Same with Larway. If you let your team get you in a good enough position that you don't have to throw the last rock, I'm always happy with that as the skip.
Yep, and then over on Sheet 5, it was our shortest game in duration. That was Team Pustovar winning the bronze medal over Team LeClair 9-3.
Yep.
Really, it was a huge end in the third. Looks like a score of 4, and then another score of 2 in the fifth.
Yep. And I mean, that one, I think we talked about it a little bit before, but Pustovar was coming hot off of the semifinals. They lost, but they played really, really well, and it was a really tight game. So hats off to them. They played a great week. I think a couple inches here, a couple inches there, they could have been in the finals playing against Larway. They got knocked out by Farbelow, but honestly, a lot of impressive teams this week coming out here and playing at a very high level.
You can see our bagpiper, Scott and McLean, getting ready. I think the teams, after a short celebration, are going to be getting ready to march out here.
Yep. Longtime bartender, club member, bagpiper extraordinaire, the everyman, Scott McLean.
Absolutely. Iconic part of this curling club.
I remember when I was barely young enough to just barely get the rock over the hog line, Scott McLean is the one who I would sub for him on Friday nights, and he would drill etiquette into me, get all the sort of rude young boy habits out of me, and teach me how to be a proper curler.
You can hear the bagpipes playing, and the teams are marching out. The ceremonies is beginning.
just line up the
the 2023 Senior National. My name is Ryan Dorfler. I'm the president of the Granite Curling Club of Seattle. Before I turn it over to Dean to award the medals, I do want to thank everybody, all the volunteers that helped out here, the ice crew for their countless hours preparing the ice, the bartenders, the officials, the timekeepers, the scorekeepers, the commentators up there up top, and the kitchen crew, and the probably another 150 or so volunteers that made this all happen. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dave.
Thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Seattle Granite. I don't say this just because I love it every time I'm here. It's my third time at this club. There's no other club I'd rather be in, and I think the curlers would like to be in as well. So thank you, everybody, from volunteers on down. I have to name a few of them, even though Ryan already did. Lori and Lisa, who did so much. And he even managed to play their way into the bronze medal game while they were doing everything else. So well done. Laurel and Jeannie. Jeannie in the kitchen was always there with food. Thank you, Jeannie. And the ice crew, Dave Lineweber, Dave Stevatag, and the rest of their crew. Can't do without them. And our officials all from here, Head Chief Umpire Dom Marico, Joe Roberts, and Joel Russ. Thank you guys, and everybody else who officiated. With that, we'll get to the awards presentation. We'll start with the women's bronze medal winners. Team Dukes, Susan Dukes, Angela Montgomery, Stephanie Erstad, and Anne Gravel. And our women's silver medalists, Team Lawless, Tracy Lawless, Leslie McGregor, Lisa Johnson, and Elizabeth Demers. Congratulations. Come on up and get your silver medals. They're tricky. You need a medal wrangler. There they are, your silver medalists, Team Lawless. And your gold medalists, defending their title from last year, Team Smith, Margie Smith, Ann Swisshelm, Shelley Kosal, and Shelley Dropkin. Come on up and get your gold medals and your trophy. Let's not forget to give you the trophy, since we have it here. have it here, give him the trophy until you get it. Here's a photo. And Laurel, let's give him the trophy too. Laurel, let's give him the trophy. Give him the trophy there too. Put that. Yeah, give him the trophy now. The 2023 Senior Women's National Champions, Team Smith. And now your men's bronze medalists, Team Pustovar, Paul Pustovar, Ross Littman, Dan Wiesa, and Mike Niffen. Congrats, boys. I get over there, but it's slippery. All right, you ready? There's your photo. And now your 2023. And now your 2023 USA Curling Men's Senior National Silver Medalist, Team Farbelow. Mike Farbelow, Rich Ruinen, Bill Stopera, and Tim Solon. Team Farbelow, 2023 silver medalist. Good job, boys. All right, so I missed these guys in the opening ceremony, so they had to make sure they got into they had to at least get into the medals, and they went all the way to the gold. Your 2023 USA Curling Men's Senior National Champions, Team Larway. Joel Larway, Doug Kaufman, Darren Leto, John Rasmussen, and Coach Ken Trask. So they won in 2020. I skipped them in the opening ceremony, and now they're the 2023 champions. Your representatives in Korea, Team Larway. Thanks to all the competitors in the event. Thanks again to Seattle Granite. Really hope to come back if you'll have us.
And as Scott McLean pipes them out, that brings a close to the 2023 U.S. Senior Nationals. It was a really exciting event, a really exciting week. A lot of great curling, a lot of fun to watch. I hope you guys at home all enjoyed watching it with us. I hope you enjoyed watching Team Smith and Team Larway take home their gold medals and get some trips to Korea. And just really impressive shows from both those teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an honor and a privilege to be able to cover games in the evening here this week and today. It was a lot of fun to get to watch these great athletes who've been playing our game for so long and understand it so well compete for this title. Really cool to see Team Larway go full circle, having not getting their chance to go to Worlds after winning in 2020, and now I guess we don't know for sure till they get there, but fingers crossed.
That's true. Who knows what could happen?
That they get to Gangneung in Korea. If I'm not mistaken, that is the venue from the 2017 World Junior Curling Championships, as well as this small event called the Winter Olympic Games in 2018.
Have you heard of them?
Beautiful venue. I have. I think they're going to have a great time and a well-earned trip for them. All right. Thank you all so much for tuning in throughout the week. It was really good to have so many people from around the country and around the world tuning in to watch. If you haven't already, if you could like and subscribe to the Granite Curling Club YouTube page and try to improve our coverage in future events, please do so. Evan, any other closing remarks?
Good curling, everyone.
And with that, we will, I guess Dean didn't officially close it, we will close the 2023 Senior National Curling Championships. Have a great evening.
Thanks for watching. Bye.